Hold on a second. Breaking news. Jared Maxwell has been stood down as the head of the referees boss.
That's why he had that long face all day. I'd just like to apologise for my joke earlier.
All right, cool, we good?
Yeah, we're good. Let's go.
Now,
football.
thank you everyone for tuning into another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by the good people at Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Now,
It's a trial, mate. This is a trial. We're going to see how it goes.
Now, look, Jared Maxwell, quickly jump into it, stood down. Has he been? I don't think he was the head of the referees. He was the head of the video referees and interpretations.
Something like that.
They've booted him. That looks like another way for Annesley to turn around and go, I'm still doing my job.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We'll leave that till the full story comes out. But yes, Graham Annesley survived yet another round of cuts.
Former South Sydney CEO can't pronounce his surname, not even going to attempt to butcher it. He will be reporting directly into Annesley. And if he's half as useless as Annesley, well, this will be a disaster.
This will be fun, easy content for us.
Trial games. Let's get into it. Started off Thursday night. Our boys. Pretty dodgy 10 minutes.
Doesn't matter.
One by 30 in the end. I believe we're leading the...
The Warriors have taken the lead.
No, they haven't. No, the Warriors only won by 28. We won by 30.
Yeah, but they got the bonus point for the offloads.
Ah, bastards.
So, in the all-important pre-season cup, they were leading and are leading, obviously playing 2 games.
Yep.
Brisbane probably fly ahead, smashing the... We'll towel it all up next week. But a fun round and nothing controversial happened at all.
No, and do you know what I actually really, really liked this weekend is there weren't many refereeing challenges overturned, right? And there wasn't one where you turn around and went, oh, how did they not overturn that? I think the referees got it pretty spot on.
They did. Plus in a try, you go, do you want a challenge? Don't waste my time.
Yeah. The other thing, like Todd Smith as well, he's the best. He's got the best face. Like, do you want a challenge? Do you want a challenge?
Yeah,
you do? Oh, okay. This idiot wants to challenge. And look, Smitty was pretty good.
Hey, it was all round a good weekend of football. And as I said before, nothing controversial.
Any big injuries?
Probably. We're recording this before the Dragons kick off, just in case. So, exclamation mark there.
But yeah, I can't... no injuries, no one... Like, there were a couple of people put on a report, but I think that was just we haven't put someone on a report for about 4 games.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's quickly do it. But yeah, well, it's just fun to have rugby league back.
It certainly is.
Yeah. Now, speaking of the trial games though, Dan, the big controversy, the trial delay on the Central Coast.
Gossip, yeah.
Now, let's just take this. This was a South Sydney home game that they moved to the Central Coast. A fan in the stands had a heart attack and the car on hand had to take that person to Gosford Hospital. Now, I didn't care if this game kicked off at 9 o'clock at night. You needed to make sure that there was the right amount of people, staff, whatever, on the ground at the same time. So the biggest thing about this is the fan okay?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to say about it. I know you've got a burning desire.
I have a burning desire to point out the fact that... So I got a tip off when this was all unfolding that said it's not just what's going on in the stand. Obviously, we hope that person's okay. And if the game had got...
Postponed, delayed, cancelled.
The players wanted to play, the spectators have travelled, etc. It's an inconvenience. It's not as inconvenient as the person who was unwell, who we hope is doing well. But I got a tip off when this was all happening that there was a little bit more to it, and that even if that hadn't happened, something else was being discovered that would have done. Now, I didn't know exactly what that was. It came out last night. I'd given up by that stage. I didn't want to go back and nerdy people because it's not my style.
Yes, it is.
Well, I just don't have the energy anymore. I'm old, I'm mature, I'm balding. It's all happening. It's come out that South Sydney didn't have the required reps on hand, and even if what happened in the stand didn't, the game probably would have been delayed until they had someone there. My issue is that how the NRL don't have protocols in place to say a couple of hours before, hey boys, just checking everything's good, you got your team kits, yep, everyone done their shoelaces up, yep, all the media commitments, yep, 100%, you got your paramedics, oh geez, we don't have our paramedics, well, you got a couple of hours, you better organise them. This evidently happened last year in an NRLW game. So it's not like the NRL have been caught out and gone, my God, this hasn't happened in 20 years, which stuff happens, I get it. It happened last year and they didn't update their protocols. That is where my frustration came from. People on Twitter that ran at me didn't know I knew this info, and I didn't want to give it out, because if it was proven wrong, it would have looked doubly stupid, and I don't need a hand. The fact remains, South Sydney didn't follow the protocols, that the NRL, an NRL trial game, it is ultimately their responsibility. It's their competition, trial game or not. It's farcical. Souths are going to get fined because it makes them look stupid. I don't think the NRL should fine them because of what happened, sensitivity, etc., etc. But the NRL have to say, hey, we need a protocol to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Now, just for any, look, I'm not going to get too far into this because obviously working in health,
absolutely,
know a little bit.
And I messaged you and Chris first, yep.
And so people were saying, why don't they just get another car, right? Why don't they just get another car? First of all, a stationary car at a sporting event or a concert is different to a car that's out on the road. Second of all, you can't just pull a car from out on the road
out of rotation
and put it into a sporting event. You don't know what's going on out there, car accidents, collapses, people in houses, fires, all that kind of stuff, right? You don't know what's going on. So you can't pull road staff off. There's a reason why stationary cars are booked and they're called user pays, because the user pays for it, which in this case is the NRL. They pay for that car to be there on the ground, right? Now, even if the car had gone, the game couldn't have gone ahead because there weren't enough paramedics on there, right? And so the question is, what if someone got spear tackled and that car taken away, then the fan in the stands had a heart attack? There would have been enough paramedics on site to treat the stand until a road car came and picked that person up, took him to the hospital.
Correct.
You can't pull them off. That's the only point that I'm trying to make, that you can't pull a road car into a stationary event.
Which is a different argument to what we were having.
Yeah.
Because ultimately this is on South Sydney. And it sucks. But I would have been like, oh, well, it happens. There's oversights. We forget things all the time, whatever. The fact that they went over the loudspeaker half an hour after the game was supposed to start and said, is anyone here a paramedic? And someone who had to prove they were a paramedic, which took another hour to justify. Again, that's the process. The NRL should have been all over this. They hadn't been drinking, that hadn't come off a shift, that had had the required sleep, had ticked all the boxes. If no one in the crowd had been available, that game doesn't go ahead. That is farcical. That was my blow up. So if you want to come back at me at Twitter, by all means go for it. The NRL have to look at themselves and go, this can't happen again.
There needs to be a checklist, as you said, referee assigned, check. Touch judges, video ref, check. Oh, what if someone gets spear tackled? Do we have enough paramedics? Let's make that call.
And they have to be independent because both teams had plenty of doctors there. It's completely different again.
Yeah, is what it is. Now, I haven't heard any of this news next, so I'll hand it over to you. But Johnny Bateman has gone up to North Queensland, kicking and screaming. And he's still talking.
He's still talking.
What's he said?
So the West Tigers, as you know, they had a bitter divorce. And he's come out and said that I feel like I've been made a scapegoat. There was a lack of communication. I rang the Tigers. I said, what was the communication? They said, we communicated that we wanted him to play well and he wouldn't have a bar of it. Just let it go.
Yeah.
Dude, you're not a scapegoat. You play like crap. You're on way too much money. Go to North Queensland. It's a beautiful place.
Kill it.
Very hot. You got a better team.
Do
maybe.
they? Yeah.
No,
okay.
Maybe not. You got a better place to live, potentially. Just play football. Just prove everyone wrong. I love the bloke because he was a Wigan legend. No love lost for going for the Tigers, whatever, it is what it is. But he has to move on from this or else people like us are going to go to the after conferences and go, oh, what about that comment you made about the Tigers last year? Who cares? It's in the past.
Yeah, look, I get it. I get it. Sometimes there's like bitter divorces with, as you said, with players and teams and stuff. But the best thing that you can do is sit in silence. Train hard, eat well, turn up on time, get your spot in first grade, and then go and, when you play the Tigers, go and batter them.
100%.
Imagine, like, the best thing that John Bateman could do is go out there and when the Cowboys play the Tigers, pencil that game in and write underneath it man of the match. And come off the field as the man of the match.
It's a very, very good point.
That's exactly what he should be doing. And I get it. They're asking for a comment. So, sometimes these players just can't help themselves. But at other times, he probably needs to have a good hard look in the mirror and just go, I was absolutely atrocious on the team that came last twice while I was there.
It was terrible. Straight up. He's got to own that. If someone says, you got a comment? Yeah, I do. Didn't go the way we wanted it, but I'm in North Queensland now. Let's talk about the Cowboys. Easier said than done, Terry, but it's got to be done.
Got to be done. Now, Dan, Saturday night, the All-Star game went ahead. Congratulations to the Indigenous women who won on full time with the penalty goal right. And correct ruling.
Yep.
Correct challenge as well. And going into the main event, you and I were pretty confident that the Maori All-Stars were going to win this game and win this well. And Jesus, they were made to fight for that game.
They certainly did. Going in, we were very critical that, an All-Star game should feature all the All-Stars. You had Hines and Trindle, as you correctly pointed out, 2 man of the matches in the previous 2 games. A lot of stars missing. Geez, they turned it on. I'm very much of the thinking that this game's more about what's off the field than on it. But geez, what was on it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, look, this has significant cultural respect off the field and on the field as well. Like the pre-game show, the war dances, everything. Like it lifts, it really does lift the crowd, right? But the battle on the field, like 0-0 at half-time, and it wasn't like it was a bludgeoning 0-0 game. It was like an edge of your seat. This is going to blow over, at any time. And obviously Shaquille Mitchell made someone really rich on Twitter. Did you see that?
Yeah, the first try scorer.
Yeah, he got him twice, picked it twice, insane. Just for banner.
Absolutely insane.
What I love, though, the highlight of this game for me was after the Maori All-Stars scored their try, the kickoff, Casey McLean runs it and then just gets thrown into the first row. Like that is what this game is about. A try scored right at the end, heaps of pressure. It looked like Niue Puru was going to win the game.
Yep, it did.
And Dane Gagai, old father time, just said, you've got one last swipe in you, mate. Get that out.
It was incredible.
And Dane Gagai, man, he was focused and fired up.
He certainly was. I think it's fair to say that neither team wanted to lose.
No.
Do you not get me wrong? It's a pre-season trial. In 6 weeks, the result won't matter. It mattered to everyone on the field and it mattered to the people in the stands.
Now, you and I rightly pointed out that the reason why Hines and Trindle and other players involved for like the Warriors didn't play. I know James Fisher-Harris did play this game, much against the Warriors.
Yep. Oh, he was having none of it.
I think this game needs to be moved forward now. If we're staying in Vegas and the NRL looks like they're staying in Vegas and there's a leaked 2026 game that sounds like it's going to be an absolute ripper over there. But if this game is going to stay ahead, then this needs to be brought 2 weeks earlier into the season so all the big stars are available for it, and then you just rotate the hell out of it. Because, you and I have got our thoughts on Niue Puru and the fact that he started and played 80 minutes in an All-Star game, and he's going to play for the Jets for the majority of the season. And what really blew my mind was that Andrew Johns kept saying, man, this guy's ready for first grade. Yeah. At what team? Go to Newcastle, please.
Shan't be us, Andrew.
Please go to Newcastle.
This game needs to be marquee.
No, actually don't, because Ho Hopper's going to stay. He's great.
He's good. He played, again, good Puru, bad Puru. We're going to play that game on Fins Up. Make sure you tune in.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had a great time. Any rugby league's good rugby league, but that was a huge step up from the trial games that we saw earlier. It has to be a marquee event. Bring it forward, book it in, have the best players play. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Now, Dan.
Yes.
I'm trying to say this with a straight face.
Go on.
Adam Reynolds wants to continue his career beyond 2025.
He does. It's good to hear. Great fan of Adam Reynolds, but Father Time is undefeated, and if I were him, I'd be worrying about getting around 10.
Yeah.
With the great, and I do not mean that in jest. I mean, as a rugby league fan, I want to see him play a lot of football this year. Yeah.
Now, a famous EPL pundit said this about one of the best players to have ever played the game, who's currently playing in the EPL at the moment.
Cole Palmer. Yep.
No. But he said, leave the game before the game leaves you.
Yes.
Talking about a Manchester United midfielder at the moment. I get the feeling with Adam Reynolds as well. That's the same. How do you want to remember Adam Reynolds? Because I want to remember him as one of the best halfbacks that we've seen in the last 10 years. Yeah, and he has been.
Genius football.
Won a premiership, been in Origin, part of the Indigenous All-Stars when it was really coming through. Just a great all-round footballer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, if he plays another year and another year, you're just going to remember him as an old broken man.
Unfortunately, yes. And that hurts to say and hear, if I'm being honest. I never enjoy when players come out and say, this is my final year, and then give it my all, etc., etc. Other than, sweet, that's a good story. For him to come out and say he wants to play on, that's good to hear, because it makes me think, he's a good mind space, and physically he's going to be good. But I also look at the way he played last year, and even in the games that he finished, he was hobbling and he was strapped, and there were more straps than there were tattoos on that leg. At a point, someone...
My dad started calling him salad legs.
There you go.
And I asked him why, so I've never seen so much dressing on it.
Perfect. Well, my stole your joke.
Yeah.
Sorry, I almost ruined it. I want him... I hope he plays on. I want him to be fit enough. But at a point, someone that loves him should say, come on.
Play on at Wigan.
Yeah, that's... Oh, yes, please.
Yeah.
He would still be the best player in the competition.
Play on at Leeds. Play on somewhere. You know, Salford just got beat 82-0. Maybe if you go and play, it's 82-6.
Yeah, they need a halfback.
Yeah, you know, like something, right?
Yes.
But I just don't think the NRL is where he can be because his body lets him down.
It does. Now, I saw some people in the replies go, oh, well, Tom Brady played till he was 45. Different game.
Tom Brady never got touched.
Different game for a start. He can go full games, and that's not entirely true, but it's much more true than
Never
the
got
bloke
sacked, ever.
that is going to run at. Well, no.
Yeah.
I love Tom Brady. He's the bloke that's going to be forced to make 30 tackles a game, and if he's not, it's because he's making 40. Mm-hmm. Let's just see how we go by round 10, eh?
I know, every game plan this year needs to be, if Adam Reynolds is on the field, that back rower is having 30 hit-ups at him. Like, that's the game
fair.
plan.
That's rugby league. Jerry,
Talk to me, Dan.
time to talk some black, white and blue.
My favourite time of the week.
And yes, it was a trial, but we won!
Oh well, segment over.
Segment over. What'd you make it?
Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The first 25 minutes of the game, I did not watch. Sydney
Other
Kings were
commitments,
playing their semi-final match. I shouldn't say I didn't.
How'd that go?
Yeah, they lost. I was flicking backwards and forwards in between the games, right? And you know, when my phone would blow up and I'd get a message saying, "Oh, that was crowd," you know, flick on and you see what's his name, KO Weeks running through us, and it's like, oh, same old Sharks haven't learned to not shoot a fast fullback when we don't have anyone in the team that can catch him.
Yep.
But you know, I think once we sort of realised that what was the referee's name? Liam
Kennedy.
Liam Kennedy.
Your mate.
Once you realise that Liam Kennedy has good eyes apparently to see every single step over on the play of the ball, because last year he was a dreadful referee, but he got all of these decisions correct.
Yeah.
Right. Once we kind of figured that game flow out, and then we just said, all right, let's just what's our advantage over Canberra? Geez, we're huge. Mm-hmm. We're big bodies. Mm-hmm. Let's just throw the big body. Game changed when Tom Hazelton came on.
It did. Big bold.
Big
He's
bold.
playing like a player that doesn't want to go to the Dragons.
No, he doesn't.
We'll talk more about him in a minute, but yes.
Yeah, but you know, the go forward when the wingers got there, we started kicking towards our tall wingers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome. Trindle, you know, had the ball on a string with his boot. I thought Nico Hines looked pretty good for a trial game.
He did.
Should have had a multiple try assist to Sam Stone Street, who I'm still looking at his hands wondering how he put that ball down.
Look, it wasn't a great night for those of us with that agenda. Don't get me wrong, I thought he played pretty well. If he didn't drop that ball, no one's talking about it, but he did.
Yeah.
If that ball floats over his head, he has an 8 out of 10 game.
That's all people are remembering. They're not remembering the first try that he scored. They're remembering the one that he dropped, which was the line.
Yeah.
The line was so wide open.
Yeah.
He had to think someone was coming to smash him.
He was already celebrating,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Look, he did have the try assist with his defence, which I thought was the best thing he did all night. But going back to the start, the start was diabolical. Cronulla are not known for their fast starts. That didn't overcome. That Canberra side, you know, with the greatest respects, isn't very good. At 10-0, you're starting to think, oh, God, here we go again. You know, and Fanil Blake did. Kalero had the worst play of the ball of all time. And then he turned around to have a go at the ref, and you see him go, I didn't play that right, and him pull away. So props for that.
Yeah, so that was the other thing as well. It just shows the pecking order. When Kalero, you know, played the ball incorrectly, everyone was blown up going, oh, Ero this, Ero that. When Adam Fanua Blake does it, like, oh, he's so cute, let's get him a present.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, Adam, that was my fault.
Yeah, Liam Kennedy apologised for making a correct call to him.
From there, it was all Cronulla.
Yeah.
I mean, Ronaldo played exceptionally well, celebrating his
contract.
re-signing.
I thought Ramian was awesome.
Ramian was great. I thought Ero played well once he got the nonsense out of his head. The forwards all looked good. Nikora played 75 minutes, which is crazy.
I was just about to say, unsung hero of the night was Nikora. I tell you what as well, I know it's a trial game, right? But the fact that he played 75 minutes and just whacked people from start to finish, right? And Blake Brayley, when he got hooked from the field, genuinely had the shits.
Yeah, it looked good.
He's like, no, I didn't want to come off.
Yeah,
he played really well.
He did. It was good signs. I thought Kennedy was good. I thought when the young kids came on,
Riley Pollard is insane.
There's a lot of talent, which will, again, fins up for the full breakdown because we have so much more to say. Mm-hmm. It was a 9 out of 10. You look at the result, who cares? You look at the performances, you care a little bit. You look at that starting effort, and I was very annoyed. And then when they clicked in, they weren't going to be beaten by anyone. So pretty positive night in the capital.
I've just I got 3 letters for you, and I just want you to tell me your feelings.
Yep.
AFB.
I feel very good. Now he started okay.
Yeah.
There was a hit up there though that he made more post contact meters than anyone else did in the set. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, okay, he's in. Now I think that might have been the second set or something. So it started earlier. I was shocked when he came back on. I was thinking, what? And then he just steamrolled 4 blokes and scored and gets up and does the little, I'm good and I know this.
I want to ask you that rookie winger from Canberra.
Yep.
If he had his
Somali.
Yeah.
Yep.
If he had his time over again, do you think he takes a hit up at Britt Nicker and Adam Fanua-Blake in the 6th minute of the game?
Oh, no, I think he chips and chases.
Yeah.
Or runs the other way or just knocks it on. Damn it.
Yeah.
Rats, Ricky. I was pretty impressed with everything all up. The Newtown boys that came on were really good. But just quietly, the Nico High and stuff. So those that didn't see Sharkcast, Gaz, who, is very ingrained in what's going on at the Sharks, said they planned for Nico to come off at that exact minute and they planned to ice him as he's iced after every game and training since the beginning of time. Fox Sports runner. Geez, the Sharks will be worried about this thing that they knew was going to happen in advance. Just wanted to call that out because, God, stop being lazy.
Yeah, and it was Ramian limped from the field. And they said, question marks over Jesse Ramian. And he goes on Instagram and goes, lol, someone trod on my foot.
Yeah. Stop being lazy. But we had some All-Stars too.
We did. There's just a few more performances that I do want to touch on in this game. Chris Vela looked really, really good in the centres. I think if he had his time again, though, on that break, he passed the ball to Eli Clark instead of dummying and he nearly grounded it.
He did.
He nearly grounded it. Then he gets his try. I think Riley Pollard he's going to be one in a couple of years' time where we're in the same Stone Street situation now where we're going, what happens with this kid?
Yeah.
I think Vela's going to be like that as well.
Yep.
Will Kennedy looked good.
Fine. He looked good.
I think Will Kennedy's he's fine. I will say this, after the performance and not seeing him in the trial game, I do think that Sam Stone Street will be biding his time in Newtown. I think Sione Katoa just has a little bit more polish, experience.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
His hit-ups as well are a little bit more stronger. I think Sam Stone Street needs to go down to Newtown and put on 5 kilos.
Yeah, and he's still a kid. He's 22.
Yeah. 5 kilos, keep your speed. You'll be the best winger in the game in 2 years' time.
He's 2026. Yeah. But look, the sooner the better for mine. But yes, absolutely.
Jaden Beryl looked awesome.
Beryl looked great, and I cannot believe he doesn't have a full-time NRL gig.
He does.
Yeah, but I mean, week to week playing NRL, rather.
Yeah.
Actually, before we go to the All-Stars, there was a player there that I think leads into our next point nicely. Huge Tooks, for mine, has just said, you have to pick me for round 1.
Yeah, I don't think he gets picked though. On performances, like I put a message in the group chat. I'm actually done. Like I'm really over Braden Hamlin-Uele because every time we seem to get a bit of momentum and a bit of a roll on, we pass him the ball and he incorrectly plays the ball, or he drops it, or he just has a negative run.
Yep.
Whereas this guy is like massive.
Yes.
But again, I think it's sort of like the Sam Stone Street situation where you've just got to bide your time with Tooks. Yeah. When he's come into first grade, he hasn't let anyone down. And I think that once he gets his spot middle of the year, he won't let go of it.
Yep, I completely agree. Now, I'm going to write an article for Zero Tackle, so I won't go too far into it. But I think Sifa Talakai is the only bloke that can start knowing he's got a round 1 bench spot.
He played lock. For a long part of that game, and it was frightening.
Yep, I love that.
It was frightening when he just had that ability to roam anywhere. That
you want more Talakai, and we didn't get a whole lot last year. This year we will. So you block him in.
Yep, I'd lock him in.
I think big bold Tom Hazelton's got a spot, and you cannot drag him out of that.
No, you cannot.
Kafusi, I'm staying as starting.
He's starting.
Which
Toby Rudolph is not available, which means it's
down to Uele and Huge Tooks.
Because I think Atkinson's going to get the spot.
Or do you play them both and leave Atkinson?
No, if I was going to pull Atkinson out, and I would still want a utility value player, I'm putting the better Puru in the team.
Which leads me right into the NRL All-Stars. Yeah. Because again,
he was awesome.
He was so good. He's been, I know that he can play the match in either, but for mine, biasly, has been the best player in the 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. And Look, the intercept that he got from marker, 5 yards offside, didn't care.
Didn't matter. It was awesome. The fact that he wanted that ball when the game was lost is tremendous.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to go hard on his brother because I thought he had a pretty good game in a different
Yeah, he had an average game, right?
It was fun.
He started off slow, he worked his way into it, and he should have won the game. That's not a fault. I've seen people turn around, how did he not ground the ball? Because Dan Gagai smacked the ball out of his hands.
That was Dan Gagai, bro.
Yeah, that was brilliant from Dan. Who did get me on the match, by the way?
Jesse Arthurs, I believe, the winger.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. There was 4 or 5 of them.
No, I could live with that. If it wasn't him, I thought it was Brent Naden.
Yeah, Naden was.
I thought Naden was pretty sick.
It was just a fun game, but to see our boys go out there and get into it, and of course, Harodi played for the Maori. Yeah, he probably should have scored if I'm being honest, but he did make a lot of meters.
I think he was too busy looking over this shoulder that he forgot to look over that shoulder and see who was coming.
Someone came and axed him.
Yeah, it was Brent Naden.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And earlier, Nessa Biddle was absolutely blistering. She is one scary human being.
Yeah.
And I mean that with respect because she could kick my ass.
Yeah.
Quincy was also very, very good.
Yeah, she was on the right end of the wing.
Yeah, and she'll back up in a couple of weeks' time, actually.
Yeah, in the Australian team.
The Gillaroos.
Are they playing New Zealand?
No, England.
England.
So it was a pretty good hit out.
They're probably going to give them a hiding, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely, hopefully.
Yeah.
Very good for all involved. But look, we've talked about this before. We're going to touch on it real quick. Can't re-sign everyone. Something's going to give, and it unfortunately looks like Tom Hazelton might be the one.
Yeah, now look, the Tom Hazelton circus is going around. He's toured Newcastle. He's had a chat with Canberra.
Dragons.
Been there with the Dragons. Now rumours coming out that he has had a chat with the New Zealand Warriors. Yep. There was a rumour that the Melbourne Storm actually categorically denied that and said we're not looking at Tom Hazelton because the rumour said they were trying to get him out of his contract for this year.
Gotcha.
I do believe that the Melbourne Storm will have a look at him.
Yeah, next year, which is completely fine. If the Warriors, though, you go, you want one of our forwards, you want Braden? That's what I'd be doing.
Yeah, look, you can't keep them all. My hoping is that Tom is going to market and his value isn't where he thinks it is. Then he comes back and says, what's the point of leaving? Yep. You know, if it was 50 grand between St George and Cronulla, I mean, I'm probably chipping another 50 grand to stay at Cronulla.
Yeah, absolutely right.
But if the opportunity, New Zealand's not a bad shout. Melbourne's a really, really good shout for him.
If he goes to Melbourne, he'll be frightening.
Yeah, if he goes to Melbourne, he plays rep football.
Kamanu.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Look, he's gonna meet with however many teams. The Dolphins want to have a chat with him. Manly want to have a chat with him.
He's a darn good player, and he's in that spot where he's affordable and he won't break a bank. Again, though, Cronulla got so much talent coming through. You can't keep them all, and you have to prioritise some positions. Like you can't let Pollard go, and you can't let Stone Street go. It's generational talents. Tom's very, very good, but behind him, you got Hughes too. You got Colhoun. You got 3 or 4 flag forwards. You got guys coming through. So it's gonna. If we do lose him, and let's hope we don't, it's gonna be a fact of you just can't keep them all.
You cannot keep them all. No, and look, he's a cult hero, and so you got to hope that these are the things that Cronulla are saying to him, mate. We can't give you as much money, but look how you're adored.
People love you.
Yeah,
they want to kiss your big bald head.
Yeah, and because you're so tall, you got to go and kiss your big bald director's head.
Yes.
You know, like they're the things that have to happen.
Rugby league.
Rugby league. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Rugby League Outlaws, brought to you by the good people of Top Sport. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We have another week of trials coming up
before the real stuff.
Before we kick off in Vegas. Now, I didn't realise that there's trials next week. Then there's no weekend off, is there?
No, there's not. You got to get through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, which is going to suck.
Actually, yeah, no, there's not. There's not. Got to get through Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
It's going to be tough. 4 games on the Sunday, though. We can do it, Terry. We can do it.
You're quite lucky that you don't have a partner that you have to fill the time for. You can just ignore Vossi.
Yeah, extremely lucky. Except Vossi.